Hello and welcome to my review of The Well, which I can't address without giving out my Best Actor of the Year award. And that award goes to Paul Scudder. You'll see his name in the credits. Basically, one of the extras, featured extras. We'll give him credit where it's due. He deserves some lines, Russell, but he was in the episode. He did a really cool camp run. I really enjoyed him. Paul, you are fantastic. I know Paul. I love Paul. Thank you, Paul, for giving us the best Doctor Who ever. He doesn't know about this yet, but I'm gonna get him on the channel for a nice little behind the scenes of his experience on The Well. So well done, Paul. Ironic. I love you. Anyway, let's talk about The Well, which, full spoilers, honestly, we're about to delve into some major spoilers because The Well is a sequel to Midnight. You know, like that really, really good David Tennant episode. Yeah, it's a sequel to that. And look, I mean, you know, apparently people had had this a bit spoiled for them. I hadn't had it spoiled for me. The only thing that I knew, I'd seen something that was like, this is going to link back to a previous episode a couple of weeks ago that filming account shared that I kind of need to unfollow him because I think he shares a little bit too many spoiler details for me. So I knew there was going to be a villain style twist, but I didn't know it was going to be that. I did see it coming like a few minutes before. It felt like it was going there. And you know, people have always said Midnight doesn't need a sequel, but I think they did a very, very good job. Is it quite to the level of Midnight? No, but it is like a 9.5 out of 10. All I'm going to say is RTD2 episode 3s, aka Boom and The Well, are the best episodes, because those are my two favourite episodes, I'd say. This might be my favourite RTD2 episode. It's just, because it links to Midnight, and it's just, so well adapted on, and the slow build, like that first 20 minutes, like it really doesn't rush in to getting into the Midnight stuff. It's just such like an intense, slow burn, and then you get to the really scary stuff, and that scene in the middle where people properly finally start dying. Thank God, Russell, for not killing Paul off. I was nervous, even though the ending probably implies that Paul is dead. Big up Paul, man. I don't want Paul to die. Sorry, Paul, you're getting so many shout-outs. Hi, Paul, if you're watching. You probably are watching, you egomaniac. But yeah, I think the slow build into like the major manic horror and working in some amazing elements. Rose, it has her name. I think her name's Rose Ellis. If I'm getting that wrong, I'm sorry. I don't know why that's coming into my head. If that's wrong, that's wrong. But she was fantastic, and I loved all of like the science fiction-y ways of depicting deafness. And that was just such a nice touch. And her performance was fantastic in the episode, and the way they kind of reimagined the Midnight entity slightly, just you know, like a bit more an evolved version. It's just my brain is very scatty. I'd usually record these videos a bit, you know, like, because I watched this episode at 8 o'clock, but instead of watching it here, I watched it on the Dockland Light Railway on the way to work. Hence why I can't even, you know, this review is late and won't get as many views. Everyone cries a single solitary tear. Did Midnight need a sequel? That's one of the big questions that's coming out of this for me. If you'd have asked me before this episode, no, because not only does it tell a fantastic story on its own, it doesn't necessarily need a sequel, but you wouldn't want to mess up that legacy. The great thing about this episode is it completely doesn't mess. The original Midnight episode is still just as fantastic as it was, but now we have this fun sequel that kind of like acts as sort of like a twist, but also adds to like the mythology a little bit. And I just love like the whole, you know, this entity almost just like doing it for fun. And it's just, very, very juicy. And I really loved that about this episode. It was just, this was just filled with sci-fi juice. And it was just, it was just utterly fantastic. And I think all of like the plot dynamics, this is just a fantastically well written episode. I know this was a co-write between Russell and another writer, so you never really know what that balance is quite like, but I think that other writer must have added a lot, because, you know, this was it's a very good script, and I'm very, very impressed with it. And I think, you know, just like the special effects, obviously, like I've mentioned with the deafness, it was just, it's really tough to, like, pick the only, like, if you're asking me straight away, like, what is the biggest flaw you can think of, it's probably not you know, like, it's not as good as Midnight as a sequel. Like Midnight for me is like top 3 Doctor Who like episodes of all time, and it's not that, but by no means that a bad thing. This is still like a 9.5 out of 10. I still think it worked really, really well. One of the benefits of recording this review and, like, seeing a couple of other people's reactions, people seem a bit annoyed that, like, a bit more of, like, what the Midnight Entity looks like was shown, but, like, the problem is that's people just, like, screenshotting episodes. If you just watch the episodes without, like, screenshotting it and being a bit of a weirdo, like, the mystery is still there. It's still definitely there. Like, I don't suddenly feel like, oh, I have a complete picture of what the Midnight Entity looks like. So, I think people like to complain, which, you know, is Docu Woo. Should there be a Midnight the Well Part 3? I think the only reason why you would do it, it's almost, this might be a bad example, it's almost like the Jurassic Park into Jurassic World thing, and I might make a longer video on this. I love Jurassic Park, which I would think is quite equatable to Midnight and the Well. The only way you can then continue doing that is doing the Jurassic World style thing, which they might have been trying to set up, of the Midnight Entity has gotten bigger and more powerful, and compared to Jurassic World, you know, Jurassic Park was just with a couple of people visiting the island. Jurassic World was then open to the public, and, like, same with this. This is a really stupid metaphor, but, like, now the Midnight Entity is now able to, like, travel and get places, and that's really cool. And that's the only reason why I'd want to see a part 3, is if they explored that concept. But that would be a very hard concept to, like, pull off and, like, do, like, a reasonable resolution. But I would, now they've left that dangling, I do want to see that wrapped up. Maybe, do I want to see it wrapped up? No, I would be very curious to see where that would go in a part 3. Thank you very much for watching. Shout out Paul. Lots more videos coming this week because I'm less busy than last week, hence why there was no videos last week. Thank you very much. You're all legends.